Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report Practice Edition. Final Garden Report before Celtics and 76ers play in Game 7. 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. All the talk's done. All the adjustments done. Both teams had their final practices here in Boston today. It's been a grind of a series, one where Joel Embiid has played through injuries. The Celtics have tried to break Jason Tatum out of his slump. 3 straight games with 0 for 5 starts heading into this one. Finally hits 4 threes and saves the Celtics season in the last game. Sixers haven't had an answer for PJ Tucker. Celtics for much of the series haven't had one for James Harden, but they did hold him to 0 for 4 shooting late in the game. The double big lineup adjustment started the Sixers 1 for 9 to open this game. Midway through the second quarter, they were still shooting under 40%, and that's where they finished. A terrible offensive game for both teams.
CLNS Media's Celtics coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.
Celtics didn't reach 100 points. They need to figure some stuff out on that end. Find a balance between those defensive lineups and the one that inevitably will start this game again, and trying to free up the spacing on the floor for Tatum and Brown to go to work. They both have, at varying degrees, been withheld from reaching the rim by Joel Embiid, who's just been sensational as a rim protector. It's great that the Celtics finally countered that by putting Robb out there and ignoring PJ Tucker, who took 8 shots in that game, 7 threes, and only hit 2 of them. That's ultimately where you're looking in this game. Where's Philadelphia going to try to counteract that drop position that Robb's in? Can they put a Daniel House on the floor to shoot threes? He's given them some good minutes after appearing, I think, in Game 4 for the first time in this series, playing again in Game 5 again in Game 6. And you have to think he'll get some minutes in Game 7 in place of Tucker. Meanwhile, George Niang still playing an understated role. Only 3 shots last game, hit 2 of them from 3. -2 and not the best defensive option out there for the Sixers if the Celtics are hunting mismatches, but neither are Tyrese Maxey and D'Anthony Melton, who have played quite a bit in this series. Melton shot 0 for 5. Wouldn't be stunned if he's the guy phased out there. And more Niang, more House, I think the way to go. Tucker just played 20 minutes last game. That's probably what you're looking at again out of this one. And Sixers need to maximize those small ball lineup minutes while continuing to defend at a high level. It's tough to not have Tucker out there as the point man on Brown, and he's already working hard enough in that position, but you cannot let Robb get away with just sitting in the paint the same way the Celtics have tried to get Embiid out of the paint. And I think that is what's going to decide this matchup. Can the Celtics continue to defend with Robb out there and without? That whole closing stretch where the 76ers offense effectively died came with Horford and a single big. So the Celtics are doing it multiple ways on that end. The Sixers, meanwhile, relying on those Embiid minutes. They can't take them off the floor. Harden, he's got to close the game out rather than Tatum in the Celtics' favor. And Tatum's been able to do that in this series despite his struggles to start games. Brown, can Tobias Harris give some of that secondary scoring that Brown has? Wasn't available last game, especially with Robb in that middle. And right now, you just wonder if the 76ers have enough depth to be able to compete with the Celtics. Malcolm Brogdon, great again. You're wondering when the Derek White game's going to come. You're wondering if Al Horford can hit some threes after a couple off games from outside. Those are the things that I think have the Celtics as originally 7.5 points, but 6.5 point favorites entering Game 7 tomorrow. And I do think at this point that they're going to close this out and win this series, despite I think skepticism that was founded when the Celtics went down and nearly lost that Game 6 in Philadelphia. But the way they pulled out of it was highly encouraging to me. And that's all I got to say at this point. Game 7 tomorrow. We'll have covered CLNS Media Celtics All Access. Check out my video on Marcus Smart's comments here at practice. And we'll see you at TD Garden tomorrow. I'm Bobby Manning. This has been the Garden Report.